Peter, take me back to your memories of the 360 launch. Is it, you mentioned you wanted to be first, but you're going into the HD era. The PS2 is still this incredibly dominant piece of hardware that you guys have specifically targeted as the thing we want to beat that.
It had hurt my Dreamcast.
It was personal. Yes, that definitely.
It was personal.
So
Emotion Engine, Toy Story.
So are you nervous to launch when Xbox 360 is launching, or just excited, can't wait to get it out there?
I'm curious. This awesome view of you as a manga character with like the tears and a gun in each hand. You hurt my Dreamcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, first of all, we need to get a name for the darn thing, and then we needed to get the spec right, and then we needed to get the controller right, and then we need to get the marketing right. And we need to position it. And it needed to be positioned in a unique way. And I always remember the line. We had a great, very talented agency, I'm sure still there, McCann Erickson, that helped us with. But then we also brought in Tone Agency. So a lot of when you do marketing, you've got to get the positioning right. The line we came up with, that the Xbox 360 is a living entertainment experience powered by human energy. Now that may sound like marketing BS to you, but that was the mantra we had. And the human energy was eventually manifested itself in a thing called Xbox Live. But this living entertainment experience was, for the first time, it was going to be bigger than games. Games at the core, but it was going to play music, and eventually you could play your movies on it. And this was the difference there. We needed to get out first, we needed to get our price point right, we needed to get our launch portfolio powerful, broad, spread across. We needed to get away from being a shooter box, which was a challenge. We needed to be more inviting, so we came up with a tagline called Jump In. We did 3 incredible TV spots, one of which never made the air.
Yeah. Really?
Which still I'm bitter about.
So what was that?
It's called Standoff.
People shooting
You will
each
have seen it. And Jem Martin just snickered. I know she did right there.
No,
but we filmed this in a railway station in Buenos Aires, and you'll see it on YouTube. And it was basically this concept of the purity of play, which is, if you don't have anything to play with, you use your fingers, and it's cops and robbers.
Yeah.
And it was set in this train station. Guy goes up, talks to somebody, they stare at each other, and there's this sense of tension, and then there's a pause, and he goes like that. And the entire cast in the train station plays like we did kids, whether it's cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers. And it was probably an unfortunate time where it was perceived as violence. I think there was a Madrid train station bombing, which was probably the wrong time for this. But it looks innocuous today. But it set us apart. I also then remember the E3 when, God bless, Kaz Hirai and Jack Tretton announced $5.99, and we were all backstage.
Throwing a party.
Woohoo! And we knew then we had the opportunity to get ahead, drive ahead, get our games out quickly, and get that lead. And I always said the first to 10 million.
You had the backlash on that 2 years ago, didn't you?
Didn't you now?
I know the opposite feeling there.
Got to be there first. Get there. First to 10 million wins.
Listen to
what
Peter
I always believe.
Talk about all this like incredibly smart media strategy and hiring firms. And I'm feeling like a 12-year-old. I'm like, because we had a green pen. We had a green pen, and
it's cheaper. But it was a great time. It was one of the greatest times of my career. You had to build a team, because we were growing then.
Yeah.
We had prematurely put the Xbox to sleep, and we needed to get ready for this, and we knew what we needed to do. And I alluded to we had a 3-day meeting at the Sheraton in Bellevue, and we war-gamed the scenario. And I actually played Ken Kutaragi. And we brought in a consultancy. It was a lot of fun. And the one thing we've forgotten about, and if you remember this, Phil, we completely discounted Nintendo. Because they came off the GameCube and it was a disaster.
And they destroyed both of us.
Yes, with the Wii. But we war gamed for 3 days. What are you going to do? What do the launch titles look like? What are the marketing budgets? What are the positioning? And it was a fascinating experience, which I'll never forget. And this is a decade ago. And I actually played Ken Kutaragi. And my job was to destroy the launch of the Xbox 360.
Interesting.
And you think about 0 Hour and all of those things around the
0 Hour,
out in the Mojave Desert.
6 weeks out, we thought, let's go celebrate with our players. David Reed was in marketing. Jay and I went out there. Do you remember the fact that we found people with weapons in the line? We had some issues there. But it was a celebration with the fans. If you don't know what it was, we rented some airplane hangars. We brought in Best Buy. It was in the middle of nowhere. We put thousands of beanbags out there. There were Xbox 360 interactives. We had our launch titles, probably Cameo, Perfect Dark, certainly Gears of War.
PGR3 maybe.
Project
PGR,
Gotham
yeah.
Racing from Bizarre Creations. And you just were allowed to sit there and just play. And I can still see, and
was
the
fantastic.
desert had this green marker glow.
There's Horace Luke.
It was like Area
Green marker.
51. It was fabulous.